Hi, physics students. So I'm just going to walk you through what I introduced the class on when we started our electric house building project. Since you missed this first day of building, you want to kind of start decorating your box at home at the very least. And then Wednesday or next class, we're going to have another building day. So you want to make sure to bring your box and then have all of Wednesday to work on your circuits. The slides for this assignment are all under project guidelines, which I'm also going to link on today's date, which is 5/9. But you've got the project description, which I handed out to you all on Thursday. So you have the tips for circuit building and the rubric in this link down here. It is part of the electric house project um, link on Canvas. So this link gives you tips for circuit building. This is a blueprint of what your circuit looks like if you were to do a basic series and parallel circuit. And here is your battery. You have two batteries in a row. So that's the symbol for two batteries, one long short and another long short to represent the two positive and negative sides. And then your two switches in each room. Um, Obviously, you can make it more complicated than that if you'd like to, or have more rooms if you'd like to, but this is a good reference to look at. Um, the other thing I wanted to show you is how to set up the switches. So each switch needs two brads. If you're doing two rooms, you need two switches. If you're doing three rooms, you need um, three switches, but each individual switch needs two brads and one paper clip. So you want to make sure that one side of your brad attaches to your light bulb and the other side of your brad attaches to a wire directly to the battery. You want to make sure that there are gaps and that there's no connection between the ends of the brad because the switch or the paper clip, which is going to attach in this way, is going to close the circuit. So that's going to connect your two brads together with the conductor. So next I'm going to show you how to strip your wires. The light bulb is the hardest one to do, so make sure you pay attention closely, and if you are absent today, you can get your light bulbs and any extra materials for switches on Wednesday.
These light bulbs are really tiny, and they're what they use in building those miniature train sets. And the reason why we use these lights is because it can handle a 3-volt battery or two 1.5s in series. But the problem with that is that these wires break very easily. And I don't have enough to give you multiple bulbs if you break them. So pay attention closely. This is what your thin wire that's connected to your bulb look like. And the best way to do this, I like to use kind of the sharp edge of my scissors and scrape the plastic, the insulating plastic that's around the wire until I can kind of get some breaks in it. Maybe not even a break, but just enough to get my nails around it. And of course, that's exactly what you don't want to do. I just pulled it straight off. So you want to be gentle. Take some finesse. Once you can get a little bit of wire exposed, the rest of it, you're just going to use your finger or your nail to pull it out. The other problem with this is that these wires are so thin, they're basically string. And when you're working with the other wires that we have provided, so I've got rolls and rolls of extra wire here that you are going to use to kind of extend these light bulbs around your house. These wires you are able to cut with the wire cutters the wire strippers. And when you strip them, they come up really easily. And these wires, they twist around each other really easily, which is nice. The problem is they don't really hold onto these really thin wires very well, so twisting them doesn't necessarily work. You can use different strategies, but the best thing to make sure that your wire doesn't come loose is to actually literally tie them in a knot together. Because I've had many students twist them, and then by the time they came up to get their circuits checked, somehow in some part of their electric house, the wires disconnected and they couldn't figure out where, and it ended up losing points. So you want to secure these as best you can. The tying them in a knot is the best way to do that. I also had students very creatively decide to use some foil because they know foil is a conductor. Tape is an option if you tape it together. And then obviously you want to use the tape to secure your wires to the outside of your box. Again, loose wires get snagged wires disconnect circuits, and you don't want to run into the problem where it worked one day and it doesn't work the next. Is the battery that you are supplied with. You do not take this home. You want to make sure to share it with all the other groups in the classroom. Make sure to share all your materials, which include box cutters. You have alligator clips and your batteries in each set, and you have wire cutters in each set as well. So I have this demonstration, which actually outlines how you're going to set up your series and parallel circuit, how you're going to connect it to your different switches to make it turn on and off. And then this one is set up the same way. It has more of the detail, like an exceptional piece of work that I'm looking for. This is extra credit, but it doesn't have a good layout of how the wires are connected. So what I want you to do is reference both. I'm going to have this one up here for you to see how the wires are set up. And you can play around with the switches as well. But I want you to make sure that since you are not getting a battery, that you label which wires need to be connected to the battery. So I use little strips of tape to show me this is the wire that needs to connect to the battery. All the other wires are just wires that are part of my circuit. Okay? So use kind of little tape with labels on them to make sure that by the time you're ready to test your electric house, you know exactly what to connect to the two sides of your battery here.